and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey, USA, where tonight, Golden Boy Promotions, Main Events, and Super Judah Promotions are all proud to present professional boxing for your entertainment. It's HBO Boxing After Dark, sponsored by Tecate Cerveza con Carácter and DeWalt Tools, Guaranteed Tough. These bouts are sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. For this first bout, the three judges at ringside will be Deborah Barnes, Alan Rubenstein, and Gene Williams. And inside the ring, in charge of the action, referee Ricardo Vera. And now, this is for the vacant WBO Intercontinental title, 10 rounds of boxing in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing burgundy with silver. Official weight 134 pounds, this 2004 U.S. Olympian now has a professional record consisting of 22 victories, including 14 knockouts with only 2 defeats. From Woodland, California, Vicente Escobedo. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with white, officially weighing 133 pounds. His professional record, 27 victories, including 18 knockouts, only 1 defeat and 1 draw. From Gilroy, California, the 3-time world champion, Robert the Ghost Guerrero.
Chief second.
Good luck, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Vicente Guerrero, I remind you, this is a 10-round bout for the vacant WBO Intercontinental title. I expect you to conduct yourself as professionals. You were given your instructions. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Am I clear? This is good. This is good. Touch him up, fellas.
Escobedo has already lost a tough fight to Katsidis. The question tonight is whether either one of these guys can make us believe that they can beat the winner of Marquez Katsidis and become the legitimate lightweight champion of the world.
Juan Manuel Marquez defends the lightweight championship versus Michael Katsidis of Australia on November 27.
What a fight that should be.
And this one could be good too. 2 very strong lightweights. Guerrero looks a little rangier in the ring, and the southpaw style is not something with which Escobedo's unfamiliar. He had a long and decorated amateur career, as was evidenced by his appearance in Athens with the United States Olympic team. Escobedo had some moments, particularly in the late rounds, against the stronger, sturdier Katsidis. He says, "It doesn't really bother me that I lost the fight because I learned so much from it." Tonight, he hopes to apply those lessons.
Well, they fought 3 times in the amateurs. I think Guerrero won 2 of the 3, and that's a big point because they know each other very well, I think. And it's been a while since they did it, but I do think they're very familiar with one another.
Yeah, it's interesting, Roy. In discussing their 3 fights against each other in the amateurs, Escobedo portrayed it as the kind of relationship that becomes a friendship and suggested that he feels like he's still friends with Guerrero to this day. Guerrero didn't say anything of the sort.
Nothing at all. Guerrero has 1 friend, she's sitting ringside. The rest of them he cares nothing about.
Good way to be for a fighter. Good right hook by Guerrero. Touched Escobedo with that one and went after him with a straight left hand. Now the straight left hand lands. Both times, Guerrero putting the straight left hand behind the right hook, and he lands the right hook again.
Well, Guerrero's being much more aggressive than we thought he would be.
And Escobedo sees his blood. Not sure where it's coming from yet. Up by the ear.
Guerrero has alternated between, sizzling and indifferent in his career. He looks like a pretty strong lightweight here to me, Roy. He looks stronger than I anticipated at the weight.
Very strong as a lightweight right here.
This is the sizzling Guerrero.
Yeah.
This is a very fast start for Robert Guerrero.
And he means business tonight.
And Escobedo's going to have to find an answer to that right hook, which is landing regularly. Here's a hard right hand by Escobedo. Guerrero walked into it.
Yes, he did, right down the pipe.
Doesn't discourage Guerrero in any way. He's still coming forward.
He said in the meeting that Escobedo wasn't very good with pressure, so that implied to us that he would be putting pressure on him.
Yeah, and already Escobedo seems discomfited by his own blood, Roy.
Exactly.
When you both establish that you can pressure the man in the first round, land your right hook with regularity, and bloody the opponent, you're off to a terrific start. And Robert Guerrero has made the point.
It's a good start, but he still has to be careful because Escobedo is throwing very good right hands at him. And the right hand is the best punch against the southpaw.
Relax, relax. Vicente, cuando él viene entrando, hey, lo estás él te está contragolpeando a ti,
When he comes in, he's counterpunching. Remember that. We've got to work the counter punches. Work that cut. Work it.
Mira, cuando él viene
Vicente,
entrando,
remember, when he comes in, you got to set him up with the jab so that he comes in. When he throws himself in, you got to counter him. Remember that.
Tienes que trabajar tu jab y contragolpear con 2 o 3 golpes, no nomás con uno. ¿Okay?
Here you go, you see one guy coming in with a left hand, the other guy trying to counter with a right hand. They both throwing right hands at the same time, and the heads collide, which caused that cut above Escobedo's above his ear.
Yeah, it's really in the hairline, directly above the ear.
And this is the problem usually orthodox and the southpaw fighter have, is they come together at bad times, and usually there's a bad headbutt.
Those are the most misleading replays in boxing because it looks as though the heads brush together and there's no significant contact, but all of a sudden one guy's bleeding. Believe me, the heads don't just brush together. They bang.
Not at all. They bang quite toughly together.
Guerrero in the first round was 17 out of 59 by CompuBox count. Escobedo 9 out of 40.
Watch the heads, guys.
That's not terribly dissimilar to some of the rounds Escobedo experienced against the more aggressive, stronger Michael Katsidis.
And his new trainer here said that they thought that he ran from Katsidis a little too much, so they plan on sitting down fighting more. And it looks like he's doing that, and I'm not sure yet how it will play out in his favor.
Exactly.
Well,
right hand to the body that time by Escobedo.
Yeah, he does appear more willing to trade here than he usually is.
There's the right hook again by Guerrero, and again it lands. Escobedo backing up, and Guerrero goes to the straight left hand.
These cats are trading some very good shots here.
Escobedo is hanging in against Guerrero, who is throwing shots with very bad intentions in the first 2 rounds. Body shot by Guerrero with the right hand, and he came back upstairs with the hook. Escobedo trying to land enough right hands to forestall all this pressure. Well, I got to tell you, I took Robert Guerrero apart in Las Vegas for what I thought was his lethargic performance against Joel Casamayor. This is a different guy.
Guerrero made a very good point about that. Who's ever looked good against Joel Casamayor?
Escobedo just hit him with a good straight right hand.
Watch some heads, watch some heads.
This has turned out to be a much better fight than I expected early.
For a guy with a long reach and some height, Escobedo, I think, likes mixing it up on the inside a little more than what's good for him.
Right away in this fight, what I see is the guy who seems to get off first, which means the guy who attacks first, usually takes the advantage here.
You mentioned Escobedo's new trainer, Joel Diaz of Indio, California. He also trains 140-pound star Timothy Bradley.
Which means he likes his guys in shape, obviously.
Absolutely.
Robert,
means that Escobedo works in a quality gym.
Break clean.
Guerrero, on the other hand, comes from one of those father-son situations. They are boxing in Gilroy, California. He and his father, Ruben.
Break clean, fellas. Come on, baby. Boxing, baby. Come on. Good job. Yeah, you got to go to your right. Mijo, está tirando la derecha. All right? When he throws that right, catch him on. He's going to come in like this, mira. Look, listen to me. I'm watching. He's coming in. Arriba. Look at that. Remember what's the name used to do? The one you were sparring with? Yeah, time him. Arriba, boom. And if he wants to get off, you get off. 2 or 3, but the hands up. Okay? You're trying to
You gotta rough him up inside, okay? Don't let him rough you up. You gotta rough him up, okay? You got that? Okay. Trabajar. Adentro cuando caigas, hey.
When you're on the inside, you gotta work the body.
Okay. Uppercuts. And when he's coming in, he's just trying to hook you. He's trying to make you come inside and throw that hook. Okay? Yeah, come up with uppercuts, dude. Okay? Pretend you're going to, hey, pretend like you're stepping in. Okay? Fake them. Okay? Let's go, baby.
Copy box numbers in round 2 found Guerrero landing 13 of 44 power shots. Escobedo 12 of 26. So Escobedo was landing his power shots at a much higher rate. Judges are more likely to see that Guerrero threw many more power punches.
And Guerrero seems to be on the attack more.
Yeah, it's very difficult, we've noticed, particularly for American judges. And down goes Escobedo, and it was that quick right hook on the inside. The punch with which Guerrero has been bedeviling him since round 1.
7, 8. Good. No, Robert. Break.
Guerrero also threw a punch while Escobedo was down on one knee and was lucky it didn't land with greater force.
He sure was lucky because he's been DQ'd like I don't know what.
Happened earlier in his career, the same thing. In his kind of eagerness to follow up his advantage.
I tell you, I feel like his corner may have been to blame for that one because they told him to throw uppercuts, and the uppercuts leaves you wide open for a hook against the opposite-handed fighter.
Escobedo's corner.
Yes, they did. So I think they might have set him up for that shot because he told him when he comes inside to throw the uppercut, throwing the uppercut leaves his head wide open for the hook.
Particularly the left uppercut?
The right uppercut. Either one really, but particularly the right uppercut.
Pick him up, Vicente. Let's go.
Good shot. Good overhand right by Escobedo.
Good straight left by Guerrero. Escobedo's got his legs back now. After the knockdown, fighting back on more or less equal terms again.
Oh, good right hand by Escobedo. He just did miss it.
Escobedo's a real fighter. I mean, you're not going to beat the fight out of him. Katsidis couldn't. Though he won the fight.
No, probably Escobedo's best 3 rounds against Katsidis were the last 3.
Got a lot of heart.
Conditioning is going to be the factor in this fight. Both guys are still working very good. Nobody has truly established dominance yet, although that knockdown did make it a little bit more in Guerrero's favor, but both guys still believe they can win right now.
But if Guerrero has won the first 3 rounds and with the knockdown, he would already have a 4-point margin on the scorecards.
He would.
Yeah, in a scoring sense, I agree. Guerrero's up, but I also understand the point that Escobedo still believes he can win, and he's showing that to Guerrero at times.
There's another hard left hand, however. Escobedo dropped his right. Guerrero nailed him with the left and backed him up again.
He's hurting Guerrero. He's hurting Escobedo pretty good right now.
Escobedo has fought spiritedly throughout the round, but Guerrero's having a big round anyway.
It's a hell of a round, guys.
Yes, it is, but Guerrero seems to take his punch better than Escobedo takes Guerrero's punch.
Control your breathing. Don't let him get out first, mijo. Ya lo tienes, mijo. Ya lo tienes. You gotta pressure him. Put the Vaseline. Water. Water, mijo. Water. Yeah. Hey, mira. Que rato se te baja, mijo. Aquí, cortito.
He comes down and get him short on the inside.
Boom, okay? He's going down now, dude, because he ain't got no option. He's coming down like this.
Show this guy you can do it, man. You can just put those punches in there. Combinations and right away set the jab back up. But don't let him think. Okay, he's sitting up that right hook on you. Okay? The right hook. Keep your fucking left hand up a little bit. Okay?
Here you see Escobedo come in with a right hand to the body, and he tried to throw a left hook, but he got beat to the punch with an underhook, with an under left hook from Guerrero. Yeah, it was a great shot. It wasn't the uppercut. He threw a right hand, and Guerrero backed up and threw a right hook and a left hand across and just beat Escobedo to the punch.
Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3 rounds to nothing, 30-26, Robert Guerrero. You know, Jim, he's getting off first. He's backing the guy up. He's landing that first punch. That's the main thing. You know, in the southpaw, you fight the southpaw, you got to get off first against the southpaw. You got to keep him going backwards, and Escobedo's not doing it. Robert Guerrero taking the fight to Escobedo, walking him down, landing good right jabs, a hell of a right hook, and really good hard straight left hands. Give Guerrero an extra point to round 3, 30-26, Guerrero.
It's the best I've ever seen Guerrero fight. I think the opponent has something to do with it. He's lifting Guerrero's game because he's better than most of the guys Robert's been in with. But nevertheless, Guerrero is facing the test so far. Escobedo, just as Max and Roy point out, not giving up yet, fighting with spirit and heart and determination. But, Roy, you made the good point that Guerrero seems to take Escobedo's punch better than vice versa, and it reminds me that yesterday, Guerrero made very clear in his meeting with us that if he wins tonight, he's going to call out the winner of Marquez Katsidas. He wants to fight for the lightweight championship of the world. Escobedo, on the other hand, said if he loses this fight, he's going to move back to 130 pounds, maybe more comfortable in the lower weight class. And that alone may tell you why one guy takes a punch better than the other.
Exactly, and I think he feels more comfortable at 130 than he does 135. However, this was a great opportunity for him, and he knows this guy inside the ring, so why not?
Hasn't really fought at 130 in about 5 years, so he'll be going back down to a weight neighborhood which he thought he might have left behind, but which now looks attractive if he loses this fight.
And with his height, I think it gives him a good advantage.
Oh, I think he'll be a big guy at 130.
I think so too.
As Zab Judah's a bigger guy at 140 than 147.
Absolutely correct.
What Guerrero is showing here that he doesn't always show is the consistent application of his skill, the discipline to stay with the game plan and continue to outbox his opponent even when he's being aggressive.
And he's working his jab quite effectively here tonight too. Very effective right jab.
Now Escobedo with a couple of good left hooks to go with his straight right hand. Sudden rally by Vicente Escobedo.
But his punches seem to have no effect whatsoever on Guerrero.
Correct. If you want an original first name, try Zabdiel. Zabdiel. That's the one that Judah has worn his whole life. And that's his son, Zab Judah Jr., who is working the pads for Dad. And watching himself on the television monitor. Once you discover that the monitor is there and you can see yourself on it, it's pretty hard to look back at Dad. Let's look at the monitor again.
Okay? And hey, move to the other side, but keep jabbing them. Pícalo with hard jabs now.
And some body shots.
And some body shots, eh? Yeah.
Vicente, bien cerradito, mijo. Keep
Close up.
And you
Close
gotta
up,
mix it up a
Vicente.
little bit more, huh? You gotta mix it up. When you throw your left, don't drop your right. Okay? You opening up. Okay, when you throw your right, don't drop your left. Okay. And vice versa, you gotta keep your hands up. Let's go.
Power shots in round 4. Guerrero 8 of 29 or 25. Escobedo 13 of 32. So numerically, Escobedo had a clear advantage in that round. If judges were looking for a round to give to Escobedo along the way here, that might have been it. Although Harold Letterman again gave the round to Robert Guerrero.
Yeah, I thought Guerrero fell back a little bit that round and kind of took a little bit of a break.
Good left hook again by Escobedo.
He didn't push the issue quite as hard that last round.
This is a slip.
Escobedo's cut now over his eye. Over his right eye.
He's got a cut from his slip. Take a look at it.
That would be a first.
Cut from a slip?
Yeah.
I think he got caught before he went down.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's from the slip. He banged his head. Cut from the slip. Okay. Okay, Papi. Let's go, gentlemen. Time back in.
Well, our production truck tells me that replays will demonstrate that the new Escobedo cut came not from the slip, as the referee described it, but rather from another clash of heads. And, of course, this is Boxing 101. I've told you so many times before. When the conventional fighter goes against the southpaw, their two shoulders are facing each other on the inside. When they step forward, if their feet don't entangle and touch each other, there's every chance that their heads are going to clash.
All the time.
And Roy, we talk so often about the conventional fighter in the southpaw establishing a contest to see who can get the front foot outside of the other guy's front foot. In that exchange, incidentally, Escobedo won that contest. Earlier on, Guerrero was winning that contest.
Yeah, but Escobedo took a good right hook going in, and he landed a good right hand just then, I think. Oh,
another straight left hand by Guerrero, and momentarily Escobedo wobbled.
He hurt again.
He reached out as though he was going to hold on. Now Guerrero sees a chance to keep it going. Escobedo wobbling as Guerrero takes him to the corner, and that's not going to be called a knockdown either.
Let's go. Robert, let's go to work.
These are some hard slips.
Gentlemen, let's break clean. Let's break clean.
Guerrero said he had a problem dealing with the pressure. He's really keeping the pressure on him tonight.
Forget, Escobedo went the distance with Katsidas. Lost the split decision. Should have been unanimous for Katsidas, but still went the distance in a bruising fight. And Guerrero seems to be heading towards maybe a better result than that.
Yeah, Guerrero's bruising him more than Katsidas did at this moment.
Well, I think Guerrero knows him better.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it, huh, Roy?
You're dominating, baby. Hey, you're dominating, mijo. No le estás dando nada because you have your hands up. Okay? Come here. Breathe. Ya está cansado, güey. Dámela. Here. Okay?
Control your breathing.
Okay, you got him.
He see they come together again in exchange, and as the exchange, when they swap, he threw a left hook, and the heads again going opposite directions. Right there, you saw the heads collide. One guy was going to the right, one guy was going to his right, and they both came together.
Now here's the second of the two slips in the round, and when the referee ruled this a slip, we all sort of looked at each other as if to say, huh?
But it does appear to be an exhausted slip.
Yeah, he fell as the result of being tired and also having taken 3 or 4 or 5 punches in a row, but it wasn't clear enough to the referee that the contact with the canvas was because of the contact with Guerrero's gloves. Guerrero landed 17 out of 60 punches in that round to 13 of 46 for Escobedo, but it was the force of the punches. It was the damage that Guerrero's doing, which is putting distance between him and Escobedo in the fight. And frankly, Roy, with each passing round, Guerrero looks a little bigger in there.
Yeah, he does. He looks a lot bigger with each passing round. He has his feet spread very wide apart, keeping a great distance. And he's fighting a very disciplined fight here.
You saw there one Robert Guerrero flaw. Sometimes he slaps, particularly with his hook. But then he goes back to punching hard with it.
Using that good right jab, though. That's what's winning the fight for him. He's standing in front of Escobedo with that right jab. He's staying out ahead because he's attacking first with the jab, and it allows him to set up big shots and also see when Escobedo is about to attack like that.
Oh, what a left uppercut by Guerrero. Thunderous shot. Up and under.
5,
no slip there.
6, 7, 8.
Second official knockdown of the fight by Guerrero of Escobedo. Stunningly effective performance so far by Robert Guerrero. Looking for prominence at lightweight, looking to try to get a shot against the winner of Marquez Katsidas at the end of this month. Escobedo is going to have to mount a huge comeback to get back into this fight the way Guerrero is dominating it now.
Katsidas is a tough guy. Marquez is the favorite in that fight. And I think the guy who will eventually beat Marquez as a lightweight is going to have young legs. Guerrero, of all the obvious candidates, it seems to me, has the youngest legs.
Very slick boxer, very smart boxer. You can tell he grew up boxing because he has some very great technique in the ring. Not that this fight is over, but he does show a lot of good technique.
Big, physical lightweight in there. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Antonio Margarito in the welterweight division, seemingly outsized.
Reminds me of Paul Spadafora.
Interesting.
Yep, I would love to see that fight.
The long arm Spatty with his boxing skills.
Exactly.
Didn't have the personal life to back it up. Spadafora may still be unbeaten. I'm not 100% certain.
He is still unbeaten, and I'm on a project of trying to bring him back right now.
That would be great to see. That would be a tremendous redemption, Roy, because he is talented.
Very talented. And I would definitely love to see him against this Guerrero kid.
Well, that would be an interesting challenge because Spadafora has a level of boxing sophistication which I think even Guerrero hasn't matched yet.
You're right. You're right.
Hey, you boxed a real good round.
I know, I got caught.
Okay, you got caught because, hey, you're lunging in, dude. You can't lunge in there like that. Okay? Come on. Okay? Tienes que ser más inteligente, Vicente, okay?
Gotta be more
Tienes que
intelligent.
boxearlo
Gotta
para allá, okay?
box him
You gotta make
now.
him miss, dude. You can't just stay in front of him. And then when you're done with your combinations, you gotta get back on the jab. You can't let him set up. He's setting you up. That right hook of his is coming in because you're dropping your left, dude. Come on, you gotta keep moving to your left. You gotta keep moving to your left all the time, okay? Deep breath, let's go. You're good, Vicente, you're good.
He kept working that right jab, as you saw. Then he led with a hook instead and brought a left uppercut right off of it and caught him flush on the chin, sending him welling to the canvas. What a great move. Once again, because of the the right jab, he led with the right hook instead of a jab and followed it with a beautiful left uppercut.
And you heard the urgency from Joel Diaz, the trainer of Vicente Escobedo between rounds. Particularly the urgency about keeping his left up better to try to slow down Guerrero's right hook-based attack.
Talking about Spadafora and Guerrero, and Devin Alexander against Juan Urango showed it too. When you get a southpaw who's disciplined enough to stay in the pocket and box in the best traditions of slick boxers, without running, without holding, it's a joy to watch.
I'm late with this. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 6-0, 60-52, Robert Guerrero. Jim, I'll tell you something that I've noticed about this fight. Vicente Escobedo is a bob and weave guy. He bobs and weaves constantly. You saw it just there. When he bobs and weaves, he can't punch. He just waits. He loses time in the ring. He does not get off one punch when he's bobbing and weaving. I think it's taken away a lot from his game. He's got to stop the bobbing and weaving and throw good, solid shots to get back in his fight. In the meantime, Escobedo landed a tremendous right uppercut, good right jabs, and a heck of a left hand. 6-0, Guerrero.
In his amateur career, on the way to the Olympics, Escobedo was, of course, compared to Oscar De La Hoya. It's difficult for any California-bred Mexican-American fighter who's good-looking to progress very far in the sport without at some point being compared to De La Hoya. It's like all the basketball players who get compared to Michael Jordan somewhere along the way because they're from North Carolina or they're 6'5", and of course those comparisons are usually a big reach.
Well, if he's De La Hoya, then right now Guerrero's Pacquiao.
Bingo. Or maybe Bernard Hopkins, a bigger man who is taking his time and torturing him.
Guerrero did at times in his career seem distracted in the ring, and given his personal history with his wife's illness, having the successful bone marrow transplant, maybe this really is a case at this point of Guerrero not having to worry about the outside the ring distractions and give a sort of a finished product performance here.
And he's really breaking Escobedo down here, son. I hate to say it, but he's really giving him a good boxing lesson right now. And Escobedo is game because he's taking it and he's still trying to find his own punches, but it's just pretty hard for him right now. Good shot by both fighters.
Excellent trade. There's Casey Guerrero ringside watching her husband. November 20, Sergio Martinez and Paul Williams tangle in a rematch of one of the best bouts of 2009. Should be another Fight of the Year candidate this time around. Two southpaws against each other. November 23, catch the next Real Sports. They'll investigate the little-known culture of hazing within marching bands at historically black colleges and universities. What about the Rattler Band at Florida A&M? You ever heard of hazing there?
No, I haven't heard much of it, but I know they had an awesome band.
Oh, the Rattler Band at Florida A&M. When I was a kid, that was number one in the country, no question about it.
No te quedes parado. Give me some more angles. Do you stay in front of him? And when he stands up in there, don't follow his legs. He's trying to pitch you up. Move around.
CompuBox numbers through 7, average per round. Guerrero 15 out of 58. Escobedo 12 out of 43 per round. Those aren't big numbers for the lightweight division, but it feels like a more action-packed fight than that.
They're throwing punches like they mean it.
But you know, Harold makes a good point. Escobedo does not throw out of the bobbing and weaving motion. He has to sort of stop, plant his feet, and then throw.
And it allows Guerrero a perfect opportunity to counter because he knows when the punches are coming. And honestly, Escobedo has landed good enough punches to do damage. They just seem to have no effect on the Ghost.
If Guerrero fought a couple months ago against Casamayor with cool cerebral detachment, tonight he fights Vicente Escobedo with visible, visceral fire. He is here to do damage tonight. Good left hook by Escobedo as Guerrero was backing up and dropped his right hand. Escobedo lands the jab as again Guerrero's right was low.
I tell you, Escobedo is game. Very game.
It's funny, you heard in Guerrero's corner. See, when you keep your hands up, you dominate. It's amazing how many guys at this level just don't fight with their hands up. And Roy, I know you often didn't, but you had superhuman reflexes.
Well, I don't care how superhuman your reflexes are. It's still a better idea to keep your hands up. Look at Yuri Orcus Gamboa.
Yep.
I mean, that's unbelievable skill and talent, and he's already been on the canvas 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't have good sense.
You were a little cocky.
Good try. A good shot. Good hook by Escobedo, but like I said before, his punches just seem to have absolutely no effect on Guerrero.
And not to criticize a guy too much for not being perfect. You know, that's not the standard that we're judging these guys against. But Guerrero is starting to show now in these middle rounds a little bit what he's shown in his less than best performances, where he doesn't really put it round after round together as consistently maybe as he should. Why is he getting hit with these shots now as frequently as he is?
I think it's because he's not on the attack as much, because he feels like he has to fight under control, so why take stupid chances at this point?
Exactly. He's won every round, or probably believes he's won every round, as Harold Letterman has given him every round. He's knocked the guy down twice. So at this moment, he's not in the same position of motivation as he was early in the fight.
Okay, hand up.
Let's take a look at Lucas Matisse in his dressing room, the latest big puncher out of Argentina, following in the footsteps of his brother Walter Matisse, who reached this same point in his professional career before losing to American star Paul Williams. Tonight, Lucas Matisse takes on Zab Judah. Like Williams, very talented. Like Williams, a southpaw with boxing skills and punching power. But Matisse has 25 knockouts in 27 fights and believes that his right hand is sufficient in and of itself to dominate the night and take out the opponent, Zab Judah.
You gotta work, man. You gotta work those punches. Okay? Let's go. Come on.
Let's go. We gotta work. We gotta get him.
Let's go.
Again, not to hold Guerrero to or any fighter to an unreasonable standard, but why is it that, I don't know, a southpaw like Manny Pacquiao always seems to find the proper motivation in every round, whatever the score is. He's a special fighter, and I think with Guerrero, you get the sense at times maybe he could also be special were he to apply the same level of motivation or whatever it is a little more consistently.
Yeah, well, there you go. You got to deal with personalities again, too, though. Some guys go in the ring to just get the job done. Some guys go in the ring to kill. Some guys go in the ring to cause total destruction. So it all depends on the characteristics. And Guerrero, he just got caught with a bad shot because he's trading now. That's not a good thing.
1 week after Halloween, we are in Newark, New Jersey, just past midnight. Robert Guerrero in a lightweight battle against Vicente Escobedo. If Guerrero wins the fight, you'll hear him afterward calling out Juan Manuel Marquez or Michael Katsidis. They're fighting for the lightweight championship on November 27. Guerrero wants to step up to that level if he can. Escobedo likewise would look for that kind of title shot if he could win the fight tonight, but if he loses, and so far he's had the lesser end of it here against Guerrero,
Break clean, fellas. Break
you
clean.
can see in this fight why Escobedo thinks it might be a good idea to go back down to 130.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for him, too, but like I said, don't count him out of this fight yet, because anytime Guerrero trades punches with him, he's landing some pretty hard shots himself.
Yeah, over the last couple rounds, it just feels like Escobedo's getting the better of the exchanges.
There's a good right hand by Escobedo that drives Guerrero back.
I'm not saying Guerrero should be overly aggressive necessarily, but you can still win the rounds and win the exchanges as a boxer. It seems to me Guerrero has the talent to do that.
Well, once again, I said this earlier. If judges are looking for a round to give to Escobedo and they haven't gotten off the schneid yet, this looks like it would be the one. And I get an assenting nod from Harold Letterman on that point, as if to say, okay, 45 seconds to go in the round. You're probably right, Jim.
And you get enough. You said that a couple times now. You get enough of those, and you wind up in a close decision.
You still have to be careful here, though.
The insurance factor is the 2 knockdowns Guerrero has already scored in the fight. And incidentally, there could have been 3 had the referee been a little less lenient with Escobedo in ruling slips versus knockdowns.
Break clean, fellas. Break clean.
They're banging each other around in this round, and by my lights, Escobedo has gotten the better of it in round number 9.
Guy, dude. Okay, what was taking you so long, man? Come on. Okay. Suck it up. Come on, breathe. Breathe. Open those lungs. Vicente, you have a beautiful defense, dude. When you tighten up your defense, you can get in there, dude, and exchange punches, but don't just come back with a 1-2.
You got in, you rip them shots, dude. All right? But with your hands up. He's going to try to go out open, so he's going to be open for a good shot. All right? Yeah. Okay.
Keep it tight.
Yeah. Just keep your hands up.
Hands up.
Yeah. No, you don't got.
Finish his ass up in this round. Let's go. You can do it, Chente. In this one round, go.
We got 1 round.
Last round? Last round. Okay. Last round, Chente. Okay. Don't give it to me. Go. Vamos. Come on. Ven. What do you talk about?
Seconds out. Seconds out. Come on, baby. Touch him up.
Round 10 begins. All right, Harold, let us in on the secret.
I agree with you, Jim. I thought Vicente Escobedo won round 9. As a matter of fact, I thought he won round 8 where he landed some nice shots. 7 rounds to 2, 88-81, Robert Guerrero. I mean, basically, Guerrero dominated the fight, just like we've been saying. Backing Escobedo up, hitting him with them great left hands. Scored 2 knockdowns in the process. But Escobedo, like Max said, has come on very strong in the last couple of rounds, and he's taken it to Roberto Guerrero, which is what he should have been doing from round 1. I mean, he should have been backing up Guerrero just like he's backing him up right now. Be as it may, 88-81, a huge lead for Robert Guerrero.
Escobedo is showing the same stamina, drive, and desire here that he showed in the late rounds against Michael Katsidis in another losing effort. In both instances, the opponent has been the stronger of the 2 men, and that's been part of the difference in the fight. But Escobedo has no quit in him.
No, but Guerrero is still standing way out in front of him and making it very hard for him to get in because he's attacking him before Escobedo can attack him.
And that's mental stamina. That's sticking with the program.
Sticking with the plan. He's showed a lot of discipline here tonight.
You know, if you only watch championship fighters, you might get the impression that most fighters can execute a plan over 12 rounds. No, only championship fighters can execute a plan over 12 rounds by and large.
You're perfectly right there, Jim.
What we're seeing here is just a good fight between two good lightweight contenders.
Actually, a good lightweight contender and a good junior lightweight contender.
Well, there you have it. Escobedo may, in fact, be fighting the next time around at 130. There have been moments when it was a boxing match, but for much of the time it's been a brawl.
A good brawl.
An excellent brawl.
You hate the headbutts had to happen, but it's kind of second nature when you have a southpaw versus an orthodox fighter.
And frankly, I don't think Escobedo's been distracted by the headbutts. In the first round, he seemed bothered by the blood, but since that time, he has just come on and kept fighting and stuck with his business. And right now, he's backing Guerrero into the ropes and hitting him with multiple power shots and trying to stage a dramatic rally in the 10th round indoor.
And he's showing a lot of heart, just like he did against Catsitas, but once again, it's a second too late.
Getting up off the deck twice.
Give me a clean break. Let's
Blood
go.
pouring out of both sides of his face.
Pretty gutty show.
I think he'll be champion one day. I'm not sure what weight, but I think he definitely will be a champion one day.
So there you have it. The conclusion to the 10-round battle between Vicente Escobedo and Robert Guerrero. And barring a major shock in the official scorecards, you have to expect that Casey Guerrero there at ringside, they will be celebrating with her husband shortly on the 28th victory of his career. One loss, one draw so far for Guerrero.
All right,
All right, let's take a quick look at what happened in this action-packed fight between Robert Guerrero on the left and Vicente Escobedo on the right. There's the headbutt in round number 1, which caused some significant bleeding for Escobedo in his hairline above his left ear. In round 3, the first official knockdown of the fight, on a right hook and a left cross inside, Escobedo went down. Round 5, another headbutt. And more blood as the result of that headbutt. And there were 2 slips in the round, and one of those slips could conceivably have been ruled a knockdown. So Guerrero was still dominating at that point. This is the slip toward the end of round 5, which by our lights could conceivably have been called a knockdown because of the damage that was done in the moments before Escobedo went to the canvas. Then in the 6th round, the real knockdown. Knockdown number 2. Spectacular left half cross, half uppercut, really, from Guerrero, and Escobedo was down again. And at that point, Escobedo started coming on. You saw on the scorecard that Harold Letterman unofficially gave him all of the last 3 rounds. He showed guts, he showed determination, he showed heart. He gave the fans their money's worth. But there's Guerrero, who probably won it. And now Michael Buffer is ready with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. The winner will be the WBO Intercontinental Champion Eugenia Williams, 100-88. Alan Rubenstein, 98-90. Deborah Barnes, 96-92. All to the winner by unanimous decision, Robert the Ghost Guerrero.